All right, I now call the October 27th, 2025 meeting of the Wallingford-Swarthmore School Board to order. In opening, as you are willing and able, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Mosley. Would you please take attendance roll?
Mrs. Dolce?
Here.
Dr. Grande?
Here.
Mr. Henry?
Here.
Mrs. Holbert?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mrs. Watman?
Here.
Ms. Witset?
Here.
Mrs. Williams?
Here.
Ms. Wachowski Smith?
Here.
9 voting members present.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mosley. Thank you, Ms. Mosley. Now moving on to the student representative report, and I want to welcome Ms. Nair. Welcome, and please take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Daksha Nair, and I'm excited to be working with Joy this year as one of your school board representatives. Start with an introduction. I'm currently a senior, and I'm already sad about it being my last year in Strathaven. I'm involved in our school's amazing band and orchestra programs, outdoor adventure club, and speech and debate. October is National Principals Month, so we want to start by saying thank you to our amazing WSSD principals for the dedication and support they give to the students and staff of their school every day. Now, moving on to our school's achievements this month. Strathaven hosted their first speech and debate tournament in 6 years and dominated the home field with 5 first-place finishes. The team kept the momentum going at the Bronx Invitational Tournament, with Ottaway Singh making it into the semifinals for congressional debate and Irvin Yee and Vincent Zhu making it to the quarterfinals for policy. Our athletics were just as successful. We won our homecoming football game against Lower Merion, so Haven's football team is still going strong with 8 out of 10 wins. This impressive record has gotten them into playoffs, and we wish them the best of luck this week at their first playoff game against Moreland. The girls' tennis team fought hard in playoff matches, with Minori Sato and Lexi Glass winning their matches in the first round. It's only the second time in history after last year that Strathaven has won a round in playoffs. The boys and girls soccer teams both celebrated their seniors and a victory over Marple Newtown and Ridley, respectively, and the girls soccer team just won the district quarterfinals game with a 2-1 score in overtime. And the senior celebrations just keep coming, with both the boys and girls cross-country team also celebrating their seniors this month. And of course, our school isn't short of academic achievements. Congratulations to Ricky He, Srihari Gopande, Vincent Zhu, and Maya Hartung on qualifying as semifinalists for the annual National Merit Scholarship Program due to their outstanding scores on the qualifying test taken in 2024. Additionally, congratulations to the 15 other students who were recognized and commended for their test scores. On October 22nd, students were inducted or re-inducted into the National Honor Society, making the NHS program at Haven grow to an impressive 138 members. Students were admitted to the program upon completion of a certain number of service hours, upholding a 3.75 GPA, holding impressive leadership roles, and displaying great character. And WSSD isn't just excelling academically and athletically, but also artistically. The district has been recognized by the Pennsylvania Art Education Association as an outstanding visual arts community for 2024 to 2025. We've definitely had a busy month over at the high school. Strathaven celebrated their Golden Hour themed homecoming dance with over 800 students in attendance. The much-awaited homecoming court was announced, with seniors Sonia Blum and Mark Ball taking the crowns. DJ Salvo played all of the fan favorites, and guest artist Logan Mitchell, who is currently a junior at Strathaven, DJ'd a great set at the end. Everyone had a golden time dancing the night away under the Tangled-themed decorations and awesome disco ball. As for the marching band, they've been busy showing why they're the pride of Haven. At the Pencrest Festival of Bands, they put on a spectacular performance and left the event with high praise from the panel of critics. Finally, just last Saturday, the band hyped media up for Halloween with their Media Halloween Parade performance, donning masks and performing a spine-chillingly epic rendition of Can't Hold Us and Ghostbusters. Strathaven also said bonjour to 15 French exchange students from Bonn, France this October. These students were able to have fun at the homecoming football game and dance, and also enjoyed field trips to Philly, New York City, and Washington, D.C. Haven students were able to learn from them as well, as they gave presentations at the middle school on their lives in France. This past week was October Tech Week, where high school teachers and students discussed electronics usage. Student council members announced fun facts and tips over the announcements each block throughout the week. On Wednesday, the school participated in tech bingo at lunch, and on Friday, a debate between teachers and students fostered a space for conversations about tech use and social media. And we can't forget about our amazing elementary schools. Despite the rain, SRS students and families still had a blast with their walk and bike to school day, learning about safe routes and getting in their steps at the same time. West students, on the other hand, were busy with all things fruit. The students celebrated their annual Apple Crunch Day with plenty of apple sampling, and the second graders got to watch record holder Stephen Clark carve a pumpkin in less than 12 seconds and beat his own record. NPE will be having a Halloween costume parade, and we can't wait to see all the fun and spooky costumes the students will be showing off this Halloween. The first quarter isn't even over yet, and the district has already had so many amazing achievements and fun activities. Joy and I are excited to see what happens next and can't wait to report back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that excellent report. That's great. Well done. And welcome again to the board members. Now moving on to the superintendent report and Dr. Johnston. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Henry, and just a few things for me to update the board on tonight. I do have a PowerPoint that I'll get queued up here, but my topics span everything from where we are with just thinking about our budget and our work to start a high school renovation project, to some updates for our community, and then really an opportunity to honor an amazing teacher here at the middle school who has an international award that we just want to call attention to and celebrate this evening. So with that, just to kick things off, I do want to start by building on the report from the great things happening at Strathaven High School. To start with, as you know, I always like to begin with the images of the students who we serve. And I want to bring you images from our digital citizenship week last week at Strathaven, where we had a variety of activities for students that included on Wellness Wednesday, a bingo game. So in the lower right-hand corner, that's me calling out bingo numbers for our high school students, because we had a very clever theme that the high school developed, disconnect to reconnect. And that was happening through just activities that students could participate in that didn't, that kept them connected, kept them away from a device and more into what they could experience and have fun with together. Our teachers and students engaged in a debate, as you can see on the left side of the screen, where we had teachers and students debating about healthy tech habits that they could use. And so it happened during our 3 lunch periods. So 3 different groups got to debate our teachers, and I heard it was just a great week of learning and experiencing and building on the embracing that I see of the policy that the board voted on last year to better enhance connectedness, better to enhance joy, better to enhance the real world experiences we want students to have, which are not happening on their phones. So with that, that's how I really want to ground ourselves today. And thinking about Digital Citizenship Week, it wasn't just a high school event. We also had a family information session last week at West, and it was hosted by Christina McGarvey, and it really helped parents think about that. How do they teach their children, responsible technology use at home? Well received by the parents who were in attendance, and we just appreciated our ability to make sure that we are bringing that educational component to the new policy and really helping to support our families adopt those healthy habits at home. Turning then into thinking about our budget and the high school renovation, I'm really just staying on message with what I discussed last month, which is that we know last month I said that we anticipated that the Act 1 index for next fiscal year would be 3.5%. We now know that that number is confirmed. So the maximum that taxes could be increased is to 3.5%. Of course, we want to stay within that as best as we possibly can. However, we do know that there are some real pressures on our budget for next year, and I have them listed here. Our fixed costs, such as the salary increases that we know we want to be able to, that we are obligated to provide our staff based on the updated contracts that were finalized last year. Essential costs such as we will be rebidding the contract for cleaning our schools. And so we want to make sure that we have, available funds to keep our buildings running well and have safe and clean environments for our students to come into on a daily basis. In addition, we know that we always have to invest in educational improvements. For example, the curriculum materials that we want to make sure our teachers have to reach our students well. And so that is, a budget pressure. And then finally, of course, our capital improvement and the high school renovation project that we also need to make sure we have funding for. So when we combine those together, it's putting quite a lot of pressure on our budget for next year. And I will continue to bring up this point. We will delve into this further at our facilities and finance committee meetings, as we always do. And as we really get into a really, important discussion as this year goes on about how are we making sure we balance our budget well to live within our means and to provide our students the very best education we possibly can. So I anticipate more conversations with you about our budget for next year. And remembering that our budget, as Ms. Mosley has put in place, goes through 4 phases. And we are right now finishing up the phase of looking at our mandated or obligated expenditures, moving into the phase looking at our strategic plan expenditures. And then beyond that, as we go into the new calendar year, Ms. Mosley will guide our team looking at our general budgetary requests. And then finally, any remaining personnel requests is the 4th phase of our budget development process. It's important for you all to know that we are looking to improve the timing of the finalization of the budget. Ms. Mosley has set a goal of creating that budget for board approval by our May board meeting, which would then really help us with finalizing the hiring that we need to do for next year and putting contracts in place if we can bring that budget to the board for the May board meeting. So that's where we're going right now with our budget. Let's look at what does that mean for the high school renovation project. And I'm really excited about the work that's being done for us to have a firm, an architectural firm, who can support us as we envision what do we want that will be different and better for our students. How can we create a high school that is warm, safe, and dry for our students so that it lasts well into the future, and that we address some of the structural concerns at the high school, like the modular classrooms that we do need a plan for their future. So we've gone through a very sort of rigorous process of exploring the firms who will be available for us as architects. We put out an RFP. We had 9 firms that responded. And I'm hesitating over my words because I realize I don't have the word architects up here. So it's like, great, Dr. Johnson, you have 2 firms. For what? All right. So I'm just going to cut through the tension on that. It is for an architect. And we are down to 2 finalist firms. I'm really excited to say that we are in the phase of going on site. And today we went to one of the sites, and I do appreciate 2 of our board members, Ms. Wetset and Ms. Mikowski-Smith, were able to join us as we went out to look at 2 schools designed by one of the finalist firms. And we brought along with us faculty members, obviously administrators, but also students. And it was really great to see how the students interacted with the building and what they thought. They actually had a chance to debrief afterwards. And I felt like we were all hinging on what the students had to say. And that's really what it should be, right? That's who the building's for. And so I think that the students really helped to kind of shape our thinking about what we're looking for in the way of our architect and engineering firm. And so just a really positive experience. I'm in the process right now of checking references, and what I anticipate, and I stress the word potential because we want to make sure we do this well, is that we would bring a recommendation to the finance and facilities meeting for an architectural firm at the November meeting. However, it's important to note that I would look for that to be a very limited contract. That contract would not actually be for the full scope of services, because we really do want to work through some of those budget concerns for next fiscal year before we identify what size project for the high school renovation we will undertake. And I just want to remind you that when we put out that RFP for an architecture firm, we included an addendum to ask the firms who applied to show us what their cost proposal would be if this project is a $50 million project, a $65 million project, or an $80 million project. So by design, we have approached this with, we want to make sure that we are being responsible with what size project we launch, and we need a little more time to continue to work that through. So we want to get going on this work but we want to do it in a thoughtful, responsible way, which means bringing a smaller contract before the board in November. That contract would allow us to begin a more in-depth community engagement process so that we can hear from more community members about what we want that building to be for our students. I think that engagement is really important before we settle on, again, is it a $50 million project, a $65 million project, is it an $80 million project? Really bridging together the needs of the community with what we can afford for the future. So that's what I anticipate happening in the future. But if anything gets off track, then we'll be looking to the December meeting or beyond. If there's any reason that I don't feel ready, that we don't feel ready to bring that contract before the board in November. So that is really my update on budget and the high school renovation project. Just a couple of other quick updates for you. At the policy committee meeting earlier this month, we finalized the equity statement. So I brought forward my proposed final version of our equity statement, which is a commitment in our strategic plan. And I'm really happy to see that through to completion. We went to several different external stakeholders after the statement had been developed internally to get that sort of external lens on how can we make sure our statement is as strong as possible, and received some excellent feedback. I won't go over what I talked about at the policy committee meeting. It is available for review if anyone was interested. Did appreciate the small bit of feedback that I got from board members that is reflected in our final version. And I think that really it's because it had been looked at before. It wasn't brand new. And so the final version was meant to hopefully just encapsulate the last bit of changes that we needed to make. The statement is now posted on our website, and really importantly, what it feeds into is an equity policy. So we will be bringing a draft equity policy, I believe, to the November meeting or soon thereafter, so that we can begin to talk about what does this mean in action, how policy really promotes the equity-based actions we want to see in our schools. And I'm really excited about that evolution in this work. I just wanted to mention a few things that might be relevant to family members and our community. And so just bear with me as I go through a few important things, but they are really, I think, hopefully informative and something that families can act upon. And so first we have the phased survey, which is a survey that our students complete every 2 years. It looks at issues related to school, the sense of belonging and school culture, very important and vital information, really for the state and the county in particular. You can see who it's sponsored by there. And why I want parents to know about this, family members, caregivers, is that our family members can ask to see a list of the questions. Because sometimes parents are questioning, they're concerned about what is this survey that my child is going to be asked to take. And so I made sure to include that link where parents can go. We've emailed this out to our families as well, so they can be well informed and support their children in taking this survey seriously. Families can opt out if they request to do so. But really, we want to make sure that we understand our students' feelings, their attitudes, what they're experiencing in school, so that we can continue to make school healthy and a productive place for learning for each and every member of our learning community. I also want to mention that we have a seminar for parents of elementary age children on drug and alcohol prevention. Why now? I encourage parents who might be interested in hearing the answer to that question to attend this session. As the parent of my child who's now 20, I just know that, for all of our children, we worry so much about what's going to happen when they get older. When our children are in elementary school, this is a great time to come and learn about how you can support your child, even from a young age, at drug and alcohol prevention. So that meeting is on the 11th of November at 6:30 at NPE, run by our very own Dr. McCullough and Ms. Shaw. And I'm sure it's going to be a very thoughtful and informative evening. So really encouraging families who are interested to please attend. I did also want to mention that tomorrow I will be hosting my first community conversation. So this is just a really open-ended gathering where I can provide some information, really nothing that I haven't already shared publicly. So, a way to maybe drill down on some of the things I've already talked about, but to come and hear more about what's happening in our community, everything from curriculum, maybe the high school renovation project, anything that community members are interested in. I know I have some board interest in attending as well. And I hope it's well attended. I hope that we have just a great two-way conversation, right? Because this is very one-way. What anybody's tuning in right now is listening to. And I think that, community is built on two-way dialogue. So if you have questions, please come. I really do want to hear from you, and I really want to engage. And this is our first one, and we'll figure out what works, right? Do we need to make adjustments to the time, location? Do we have enough space? Do we have enough snacks? We'll continue to make sure we work this out for the future. Then I did also want to mention that registration is open for kindergarten for next year. So hopefully we'll get lots of good takers to come on in, our youngest learners. I can't wait to see them at the start of next school year. So with that, I am now really pleased to honor Maestro Roan. We call her coach in this school. When I walked through this school in March, before I started, Dr. Scanlon was bringing me down from our office area to B226. And as I walked down the hallway here in the middle school, I looked into the gymnasium and I turned to him and said, Jim, what is this? Fencing in a middle school? I've never seen such a thing. And he said, oh yeah, no, Pixie, she's been here for a very long time. We are so lucky to have Coach Rowan here working with our students, Ms. Rowan here working with our students, but that's not the name she's known by, not just nationally, but internationally. Her name internationally is Maestra. And we are so honored to have a master fencer working right here in our school system. That this award of the master of epee, I know, I looked it up. I even had it pronounced on my computer, and I'm so pleased for you. I looked to you to say, help me here, help me here. I don't want to minimize this honor though, right? This is a distinguished honor that was awarded on December 12th. The diploma was conferred on December 12th to Maestra. And we have the diploma here on view. And really just want to acknowledge the rigorous requirements, Maestra, that you completed in order to earn this is very significant. That I have listed there, the exams, the master thesis. But what does it mean? It means that Maestra can work with any student learning fencing, from a beginner to the most advanced professional. It means that she can train future masters of FA. And that is a significant honor. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I wonder if we could all celebrate and honor Maestro with a picture by the diploma, but I just wonder if there are any board members that might have any comments or questions for Mr.
I'll jump in first. So my son Owen is now an 8th grader, was a 6th grader, and one of his very first experiences in 6th grade was with you, and he loved it. Like, you know, he in elementary school, he was a kid that kept within himself, and coming into middle school, you were one of the first people who really influenced him. And so thank you very much and congratulations.
Oh, Miss Roan, Maestro Roan, and we go back a very long way. And as a new teacher in our district, Miss Roan marches into the principal's office, yes, and says, we need a fencing program. And we have nothing, we don't even know what it is, we don't think anything, and she persisted. I mean, it was persisting, and she has reached, our students have gone all the way to the Olympics under her direction. So we have Olympians here because of Miss Rose. So the influence that she has had, not just on our middle school kids every day, but also all the way through. And I think that it is amazing at how many students Miss Roan has reached, students who have not been comfortable in other parts of our community. They have found a niche in fencing. And I think the rigors of fencing, I've gone to your competitions, and it is amazing what our kids are able to do. And I think Miss Roan, even if she has to go outside of the building, I know she goes over to the synagogue to practice at night and finds space wherever she can, has made a huge contribution over many years. 30 years have you done one?
1 year, 28.
Year 28. I knew it was close. So for 28 years, Maestra Roan has influenced our children and this community in the most positive and wonderful way. I think our children have really benefited from your presence. So I thank you for your persistence. I thank you for your insistence. It wasn't always easy. I know it was not easy starting this program and the equipment and space and time and what we're going to do. And I thank you for all of your contributions over this long period of time. So thank you so much. from my heart.
I would like to echo some of the same sentiments and share a story that I think I shared with you at one point, but so my daughter also participated and we're trying to get her back in there in fencing. And I did one of those mother-daughter dinners one night. It was just the two of us, went out. I thought this will be a nice opportunity, you know, for us to connect. And all I heard the entire time was about Miss Roan. Miss Roan did this and she said that, and we should do this and we should do that. I was like, I gotta meet this lady. You know, it was amazing. But as Mary Jo said, you've touched so many students, and even those that maybe kind of came in and then went their way over here, maybe it'll come back again. I still hear about you all the time. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Piggyback, and I think it speaks volumes that all of us have personal connections to you. Two of my three kids have gone through fencing, and my youngest, if this is honestly the truth, last night was dancing around in our kitchen, and she's teeny tiny, and she was saying how excited she was because she's transferring in, you know, how they treat. So her next class is yours, and she was like practicing her fencing moves in her kitchen last night, and she was very excited about the prospect of learning fencing. And it's just, it really is an unusual and really unique and very cool opportunity that most school districts don't have. So thank you so much for all of the time and energy.
I was walking out of a board meeting and I bumped into Miss Rowan. I can't pronounce Maestra. Anyway, she was telling me all about, she was so animated. I'm like, wow, she's got like energy. Cause it was like in the evening. And she was telling me that she was going up to be to take this course and do this program, and that she was the only Black woman that's ever achieved this honor. And I was like, go ahead, Mom. And so I just want to congratulate you, and I am proud as a Black woman to a Black woman for the achievement that you have gained. And I have a funny story. My son had fencing with her, and he is a little like clumsy about it. He has Asperger's, and so he's awkward. And she like stayed with him, and he really loved the fencing program. It was like one of the bright spots of his education. And I can't. Jacobs, what's her name? Inez. Yes, they're my neighbor, and she went to the Olympics.
She's done Junior Olympics a couple of times, and she is a multinational medalist in the elite fencer.
Oh, okay. Well, they're my neighbors. And she trained under.
That's why I'm here.
Woo-hoo! So congratulations.
Anybody else? I just want to make sure we had. Before we go and have a picture, Coach, both my children had you as, we're lucky enough to have you in the classroom, which and I still remember in elementary school, your reputation preceded you. So the elementary school kids would talk about having Miss Roan in the middle school and fencing, and to use Michelle's term, very cool. So very cool. I just want to thank you for all your years of service. Our district is lucky to have you, and big congratulations. That is an amazing accomplishment. So thank you. Congratulations. And let's Yeah. Congratulations, that's so exciting. Thanks, Dana. Thanks.
Okay, I have to widen the shot then.
There you go, Mitch. Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay.
Look, it's impressive. Yeah, hanging on your words was swear to hanging. I had this response. Yeah. What did you say?
You're right, best.
Yes, I will let you,
Right. Perfect. Yes. So the final part of my presentation tonight is actually a presentation that will be made by Ms. McBride, our Director of Safety and Security for the school district. And we are very pleased to provide an update for the board and the community about the ways in which we continue to improve safety and security for our students in our buildings. And I think it's important to know that when you hear this presentation, it's not every detail of what we're doing to improve safety and security in our buildings, because of course there are things that we need to not make public in order to actually maintain that safety and security. So I think it's important that you know much of what we're doing, but I won't say it's all of what we're doing. And with that though, Ms. McBride, please take it away, and certainly we will welcome any questions from board members afterwards.
Thank you. As Dr. Johnson said, for the public, I'm Dana McBride. I'm the coordinator of safety and security for the district. And I'll just be walking you through some of our safety plans for the 25-26 school year, highlighting a few initiatives, improvements, and collaboration efforts that support safe learning and trauma-invested environment for our staff and our students. So a comprehensive approach to school safety. A safe school environment is built on a foundation of preparedness, compassion, and collaboration. Our approach integrates both national safety frameworks and trauma-invested best practices to ensure that the physical and emotional well-being of every student and staff member is met. Looking for a different word. So our approach includes trauma-invested practices, recognizing that crises and drills can trigger emotional responses, prioritizing safety and emotional recovery during and of course after incidences, empowering staff to respond with empathy, consistency, and care, promoting a culture of trust, connection, and resilience. National guidance integration, we align with NIMS, the National Incident Management System, for clear roles in communication and coordination during emergencies. Applying the best practices from the National Association of School Psychologists, NASP, to support prevention, intervention, and recovery. Continued collaboration with law enforcement, emergency management directors, mental health partners for unified response planning. Our prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery is really ongoing staff training and student education. Continuous improvements through drills, feedback from those drills, and feedback from our partners in that, and reflection from those drills. And of course, following what guidance comes down as far as, governmental policies and procedures and all that guidance that should follow. Really keeping a balanced focus on proactive prevention and post-intervention supports. We continue to conduct regular fire and safety drills across all buildings to ensure preparedness, both for students and staff. Collaborating with building administration to incorporate out of ordinary scenarios during these drills, such as blocking a hallway during a fire drill. So folks would have to use the alternate route, the fire exit route. Another would be, a lockdown drill and having kids out on recess and keeping them out there so we can practice another alternative to out of the ordinary scenario. We have strengthened our partners with our first responders who have actively participated in these drills. We value the feedback that they have given us from the drills and will continue to work together to make the necessary adjustments and changes to refine our procedures. Some planning improvements. Of course, our emergency operations plan is a living document. It is constantly being reviewed and updated, but it is really currently reflects our best practices and our feedback from audits, and of course, the guidance from, our state partners at FEMA and our federal partners at FEMA. We also implemented, as you know, our new visitor management system with Navigate 360. This is to enhance building access control. Navigate 360 was purchased from a PCCD grant, and this will allow us to build our emergency communications, visitor and volunteer monitoring, and student tracking. Additionally, we have invested in safety-related upgrades, including infrastructure improvements and updated security technologies. Our professional development remains a cornerstone of our safety strategy. Staff safety presentations were presented at the beginning of the school year to ensure that all personnel are informed and trained in our emergency procedures as related in our emergency response plan. The Navigate 360 emergency management program, once complete, is another part of the visitors program. Will allow for staff to access our emergency operations plans, emergency flip charts, site-specific safety plans, building maps, and of course have that emergency alert feature. So I'm really excited about that part because that brings a lot of safety related items at the hands of our teachers instead of looking through papers or fumbling through that. It's really, digitally, everything's digital. Keeping the cell phone policy in line, of course. So our family and student communication is really key. In November, we plan to present teachers with student safety presentations to educate students on protocols and empower them to act responsibly. The planning was done with immense help from Student Services Department to make sure the lessons are trauma invested and age appropriate. School Messenger, we continue to use that to keep families informed about safety updates and drills and any urgent alerts, as of course our social media and website as well. Continue communications to the families and students about safety related information is important and will continue. Just to add it, this is another part of the Navigate 360 emergency management program that will also include emergency alerts with that. As I said before, collaboration is essential to our success when it comes to safety. We have conducted building tours with our emergency personnel and our first responders to familiarize them with layouts and access points of our buildings. Building tours allow us to familiarize them with the terminology we use in schools to describe certain locations within the building. For instance, the Green Mile. If there's an incident at the high school and we say, oh, he's in the Green Mile, well, not everybody's going to know what the Green Mile is. So that's why these tours are important and that we share information like that with our first responders. We've updated our memorandum of understanding this year with the Nether Providence Police and Swarthmore Police to make sure that we have we clarify our roles and responsibilities. Our building safety teams and our newly CERT cardiac emergency response teams continue to meet regularly to coordinate efforts and share insights. And I really would love to give a huge shout out to the nursing department for their continued work with CHOP Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, for the district to become a heart-safe school district. Next steps, looking ahead and continue enhancing professional development efforts for staff and learning for students related to safety and security, maintaining the trauma invested lens, of course, with all trainings and presentations. Building and implementing the Navigate 360 emergency response, emergency management program, maintaining the collaboration and the strong supports that we have with our police departments, fire departments, and of course, our community. We also we have incorporated recommendations from our safety audits past and some coming in the future. Finally, we are working closely with I'm working closely with district leadership to make sure that safety is a priority in our future projects, such as, our capital plan and our building renovations. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Mr. McBride, I do want to say thank you, and maybe if you could just stay there in case there are any questions, but our meeting we have a meeting tomorrow, actually,
Yes.
you and I, with Chief Spling. When Ms. McBride says collaboration is ongoing, it's as soon as tomorrow. And I just appreciate, and that's just, just continuing the work, the foundation that we've all set together for how we want to keep students at the center of what we do.
Does anybody on the board have a question? No, please.
Not so much a question, but I just wanted to say thank you as well. Some of our friends are on the township commissioners, and they have noted very recently, as a matter of fact, the increased collaboration since you've been here, and really building on that even very much in the past year. So thanks so much for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just say real quickly that I enjoyed hearing about the trauma-informed approach, the holistic approach to school safety, and the fact that you're collaborating and pulling on guidance from trusted organizations. That's really great. Totally. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Megan and Leslie are great resources, and they've been, give them a shout out too. Nursing comes under them too, but they've been a great help with making sure that everything keeps that lens.
Mr. Brown, I just wanted to comment, the navigation 360, I come to the school a lot, and it's the whole sign-in system is much more professional. It's much safer. The staff know exactly what to do. It really works well. And I do remember a few years ago when you first started, our biggest issue was propping doors open, and I've seen this just like that minor change makes such a big difference.
Yes.
And every time I've come around, that hasn't been an issue, and it just was a matter of education, and so well done to you on that. That was good. So anyhow, I just want to let you know the new system, from my limited viewpoint, looks like it works well. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's really a great system. We can really build upon it as a district. Just right now with the visitor management, we're already talking to incorporate volunteer management to try to streamline the volunteer clearances part of it. And it really is a great program. There's a lot of pieces, and I'm really excited to bring forth at least the emergency management, the visitor management, but the emergency management parts of the district.
Great. All right, that's it. That's all from the board. All done. Thank you.
All right.
All right. All done with the superintendent's report?
Yes,
All right, Dr. Johnson, thank you. Okay. Thanks, David. We are now moving on to board announcements. The board did meet in executive session prior to this meeting. Also, the organizer of the Panther Pajama Run asked me to make sure I let it be known that it is coming back. Most of you here will remember the Panther Pajama Run is coming back Saturday, November 8th at 9 a.m. at George King Field. Information is all over the place wherever you get your school information. So that is an extra announcement. Moving on to audience recognition. I know we don't have anybody here, so I will condense that. This is the time of our meeting when we do have opportunity for public comment on items on the agenda, and then later there's an opportunity for topics not on the agenda. We keep it to 3 minutes. Say your address. Is there anybody here who has public comment? No, so just moving right along from that. So, all right. Now we move on to the minutes. Next item on the action for the agenda tonight is approval of the minutes of September 29th, 2025 regular board meeting. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Ms. Witsit, thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Rosie, would you please take a roll call vote?
Mrs. Dolay,
Aye.
Dr. Grande,
Aye.
Mrs. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mrs. Watman,
Aye.
Ms. Witset,
Aye.
Mrs. Williams,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, thank you. Now moving on to committee reports. Just a reminder that Educational Affairs, Finance and Facilities, and the Policy Committee all have their meetings on our district YouTube channel. They've all had recent meetings, so I would direct you to those to get the latest updates on that on our YouTube channel. So moving down now to Wellness Committee, Ms. Dolay or Dr. Grande.
So we literally just met about 2 hours ago, so I think we're gonna hold on presenting those minutes until next time around.
Yep, fair enough. Thank you. Moving on to the Pennsylvania School Board Association and Mrs. Witkowski Smith, please.
Yes, and our annual convention, Pennsylvania School Boards Association Conference, along with the Pennsylvania Association of School Administrators, held their annual convention with Dr. Johnston attending, and Ms. Dolay, Ms. Olbert, Ms. Williams, Ms. Witset, and myself. We participated in sessions on school communications, legal updates, construction management, among others. The event also provided networking opportunities with other schools and vendors, including the architectural firms that are finalists in our search. So we actually got extra meeting time in, and which was very helpful. Following that was the PSBA Delegate Assembly. Following the convention, I, along with other PSBA delegates from around Pennsylvania, gathered to determine legislative priorities for the 25-26 school year. And they are, PSBA believes that the state must provide significant and continued financial investment for school districts that is distributed using a fair and equitable funding system that provides districts with the greatest flexibility to use their resources. PSBA believes that the state must enact comprehensive and meaningful charter school reforms that reduce the financial burden on school districts and require the same standards of academic performance and accountability. PSBA believes that the state must prioritize the mental health needs of students by providing schools with a permanent funding stream and assistance for such purposes, as well as flexible options that best meet the needs of students and communities. And PSBA believes that the state must continue to invest in school safety improvements by providing with schools with flexible, locally controlled, and permanent funding streams to assist schools meeting the needs of their students and communities. And next month, I will present PSBA's 2025 State of Education Report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Witkowski Smith, and thank you to all the board members who attended the PBSA conference this year. We had quite the turnout, so we were represented well. So thank you all for going. Moving on now to Delaware County Community College Liaison and Mr. Miller. No. Okay, thank you.
That might be easy.
Moving on to the Delaware County Intermediate Unit and Mrs. Holbert.
Thank you. The DCIU's search for an executive director continues in earnest. As a board, we interviewed several candidates for the first round last week, and we will be interviewing for the second round this week. We are on track to vote on a final candidate in November. I also attached an official, something officially produced by the DCIU about the executive director search. And I had a chance to attend last week's PSBA conference as a member of the DCIU board. So I saw my compatriots here, but I also got to spend some time with DCIU board members as well as going to these sessions.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Delaware County School Board's Legislative Council and Mrs. Walker.
Just a few brief items. This one was sort of interesting. The U.S. Department of Education announced that it's ending its National Blue Ribbon Schools program. But fortunately, Pennsylvania's announced a statewide program to continue to recognize schools in the Commonwealth. So we will see that continue in Pennsylvania at the least. A lot of the conversation revolved around the continuation of the federal government shutdown and then the state budget, continued delay on the state budget. The key sticking items at that time on the Pennsylvania state budget were around overall spending, use of reserves, regulation of skills schemes, and cyber charter regulation. So we're still here with no state budget at this point, but hopefully soon. And then the minutes will show a legislative snapshot, focusing on areas of newly introduced legislation. One that I thought might be interesting, in particular, knowing that we have a lot of students that participate as EMTs. There is a House bill that's been introduced that would permit credit-bearing firefighter and EMT training for eligible students. So that would be quite interesting, I think, for our students. The rest are more of the same things that get introduced on a regular basis. So that's about it. Minutes will reflect a little bit more information.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Walker. Okay, moving on to personnel. We have 12 items for action personnel. Are there any items on this list anyone on the board would like to separate from the rest? Okay, all these items in the section are attached or described below. We have resignations and retirements. We have appointments as listed, leave of absence, change of salary status, direct payments, 2025-2026 mentors appointments, 2025-2026 conference requests, 2025-2026 curricular supplementals, 2025-2026 activity supplementals, 2025-2026 winter athletic supplemental, homecoming chaperones, and 2025-2026 activities advisors appointments. Do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Mr. Miller, thank you. And I have a second. Mr. Smith, thank you. Do I have any discussion? I'll start with Dr. Grandy at this end and go down discussion on personnel. Okay. Ms. Woodsett, do you have a question?
With the mentors, that there's no money attached to the approval of their positions because we don't know the amount of, for the clubs, amount of students that are going to be in it and the amount of time.
So, Mr. Henry, if you want me to answer.
I'm confused.
This is mentors for new teachers. And so they do actually receive a stipend.
Okay. Well, what is it for the clubs? Isn't that supplementals?
Yeah, generally supplementals.
Sorry.
Sometimes referred to as advisors for the clubs as opposed to mentors for the teachers. Yes.
I know that.
All right, any other discussion on item of the personnel? Seeing none, Ms. Rosa, could you please take a roll call vote?
Mrs. Delay,
Aye.
Dr. Grande.
Aye.
Mrs. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mrs. Watman,
Aye.
Ms. Woodsett,
Aye.
Mrs. Williams,
Aye.
Mrs. Bukowski Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. We do have under personnel one item just for information only, letter N is teachers eligible for tenure, and Miss Deanna Harris is on there, so I want to congratulate her. It's not a voting item, it's just a information, so congratulations for her. Moving on to policy, we have 2 items for action in policy. Are there any items on that list? Anyone on the board would like to separate from the rest? Nope. Okay, we have policies for first reading and then policies for second reading. They are attached and described in the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mrs. Walker, thank you. I have a second.
Second.
Ms. Delay, thank you. Any discussion on items of personnel? I'll start. Chairperson. Policy, and then policy. That's thank you. I'll start down here. Chairperson. This is you down. So
I'll just quickly, just to close the loop on 903 public participation, so after much discussion at the committee level and research into sort of legal parameters and how other districts handle this particular policy, the committee decided to keep the time limit as is for now. And then also just regarding 222, the tobacco and vaping policy, I did want to note that the committee had questions about and wanted to better understand exceptions for medical marijuana. So that's going to be an ongoing conversation when we revisit it. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, Ms. Moses, would you please hold a roll call vote?
Mrs. Dole,
Aye.
Dr. Grande,
Aye.
Mrs. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mrs. Watman,
Aye.
Mrs. Witsett,
Aye.
Mrs. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kowski Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. And under policy, there is letter D, administrative regulations for information only listed there. Moving on now to curriculum, we have two items for action under curriculum. All the items in the section are attached or described. Are there any items on the list anyone on the board would like to separate from the rest? Okay, we have under curriculum, we have Newman University Facility Temporary Licensing Agreement and Arrowhead Agreement. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mrs. Kowski Smith, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Dolay, thank you. Any discussion on items under curriculum? I'll start. What's that? Yes?
I might have missed something, but what is the Arrowhead? Is that a class trip for freshmen, junior high, middle school?
Middle school.
Middle school? At the end, it's an end of the year trip?
June 1st, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any other further discussion? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Mosley, would you please hold a roll call?
Mrs. Dole,
Aye.
Dr. Grande.
Aye.
Mrs. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mrs. Watman,
Aye.
Ms. Witsett,
Aye.
Mrs. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kowski Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Moving on to student services, and we have 4 items for approval of student services. All the items in this section are attached or described in the agenda. Is there any items on under student services that anyone on the board would like to separate from the rest? Ms. Dolay, please.
I'd like to separate D, the Brett Denovian Associates
D.
contract.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna, we'll move back to, do I have a motion to approve letters A, B, C, A, B, C? Motion to approve A, B. C. Mr. Williams? Yes, thank you. Mr. Miller, thank you. Okay, any discussion on items A, B, and C? Mr. Bowler, please, A, B, or C?
I just had a question about C, Mr. Unit. I just wanted to make sure it's clear. There's a giant attachment to that one, and it's not super clear as to what exactly this, this is getting us into, or what we're agreeing to here. Can you just explain that? I'm sure it's a short.
Sure, happy to do so. So this is a services agreement, which locks in the rates that are included in that large spreadsheet that was included with the actual contract, such that when we are not able to meet a student's free and appropriate education needs in special education with our services here within the district or within the Delaware County Intermediate Unit, we can turn to the Chester County Intermediate Unit for those rare services, those students who maybe have low incidence needs that can't easily be met in district or within our own IU. Then we turn to a neighboring IU to receive those services. And what this vote would do is lock in those rates so that when an issue comes up and we need to turn to the Chester County IU, those are the rates that we would pay. And so we do, for example, right now pay tuition that's included in that rate for a student who goes to a program that supports students with low incidence disabilities very appropriately within that program, within that intermediate unit. And it couldn't be done if we didn't have this approval.
Thank you.
I apologize in advance. I didn't read the three that we were voting on, but they are the educational service agreements, EK McGargan presentations, and the Chester County intermediate unit. So thank you, Ms. Mrs. Holbrook, for pointing that out. Any other discussion on the A, B, or C? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Rosie, would you please take a roll call vote?
Mrs. Dolay,
Aye.
Dr. Grande.
Aye.
Mrs. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mrs. Blackman.
Aye.
Ms. Witsit,
Aye.
Mrs. Williams.
Aye.
Mrs. Kowski Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to letter D under student services, Brett Denovi and Associates. Do I have a motion to approve, and then we'll discuss how about that? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mrs. Walkman, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Kowski Smith, thank you for the second. Now discussion on letter D, Brett Denovi and Associates. Ms. Dolly, please.
Yeah, so there were some questions asked internally sort of about, what data or information we have about the effectiveness of these services. And so I was just hoping to, have that information shared in a public forum, just to make sure that we're ensuring these services remain effective and are meeting our students' needs. So we can share that.
Happy to. Absolutely.
Yes, please.
So appreciate the question, Ms. Delay, and particularly wanting to make sure that I very much appreciate the extra deliberation. This is a sizable contract and one that we need to make sure that is really meeting the needs of our students. So keeping in mind that what Brett Denovi Associates provides are ABA services, Applied Behavioral Analysis services, for our students who require those services. Many students, for example, with autism require ABA services, and the staff they provide are those who are trained in ABA. So it's not a general staffing solution. It's really the way in which the district has contracted with a vendor to provide those direct services for students who require ABA services. And what Brett Denovi Associates provides to us are what are called clinical associates, or CAs. And those clinical associates are trained by Brett Denovi before they come on site, so that they aren't walking in off the street and asked to do something that's very technical. In fact, they are trained before they arrive, they are trained when they arrive to make sure that they understand our internal procedures, and they receive 20 hours of ongoing training throughout the remainder of the school year. They're overseen by what's called a board certified behavior analyst, the BCBA. And so there's a very strong onboarding, training, and oversight model that's provided by BDA. And it's really important, though, that though that foundation is strong, there needs to be ongoing evaluation of their services to make sure that they are providing what we need. And so our special services team, under the leadership of Dr. Sandberg, have instituted 2 ways of continuing to check on the performance of this key partner that we have. And the first is that they have identified with Brett Denovi Associates key performance indicators that the leadership of BDA and our leadership team meet with on a monthly basis to review. And then they meet on a weekly basis. Both Brett Denovi Associates leadership and our leadership meet on a weekly basis to review the performance of those CAs, those clinical associates. And they look at every single CA working in our buildings, and they rate on a weekly basis those CAs on a 4-point Likert scale. And they look at particularly performance indicators that measure professionalism, fidelity to behavior management techniques, overall engagement, and fidelity to instructional strategies. So, making sure that they are in an ongoing way evaluating the staff who we have in front of our children from their agency, and making any adjustments that they need to make sure that our children are afforded the best level of support that we can provide for them from this key partner. And so during last school year, earlier we had, as you mentioned, Ms. Dole, a conversation about this, and so I'm pleased to follow up that this has been in place since September of 2024. And for the 24-25 school year, the average score for a CA was 97% on that Likert scale. And so I am pleased that we continue to receive a high level of support from BDA and a willingness to make adjustments as necessary. That they have, if we've asked to have a staff member changed, they have done so without blinking. They know that they need to make sure that they provide us with the best possible services that can be afforded for this contract. And so that two level of oversight, one looking at key performance indicators on a monthly basis, and then looking at the staff members on a weekly basis has, I think, really improved the contract oversight for this model of instruction that we are providing.
And actually, one quick follow-up question. So the 4-point scale, does that include that attendance? You know, how frequently they're attending or?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. It's actually separate. So that is also examined. And the indicator that we have for that is similar to our own staff, where we are granting up to 10 days per year to say that it might be that a staff member is about out 1 day per month. And so where are there cases where that is going beyond that 1 day per month average for staff members? And so I appreciate you asking that question, because in addition to the 4-point Likert scale, for those 4 performance areas that I mentioned, they are also looking at attendance separately, and the metric they're using is, again, 1 day per month. Anything higher than that is questioned, examined, explored to see what they can do to improve.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on letter D? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Mosen, could you please take a roll call vote?
Mrs. Dollar,
Aye.
Dr. Grande,
Aye.
Mrs. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mrs. Watman,
Aye.
Mrs. Woodsett,
Aye.
Mrs. Williams,
Aye.
Ms. Kowski Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to finance and facilities. We have 7 items for approval under finance and facilities. Are there any items on the list that anyone on the board would like to separate from the rest? Okay, seeing none. We have bills paid to vendors September 1st through September 30th, 2025. We have financial statements from September 1st through September 30th, 2025. The treasurer's report from September 1st through September 30th, 2025. Transfer. Purchase of an operations vehicle. New and student activity accounts. Verizon NASPO agreement. Do I have a motion to approve items A through G under financial facilities? So moved. Ready? Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. Mr. Miller, thank you. Any discussion on these items of facilities? Seeing none. Ms. Mosley, would you please take a roll call vote?
Mrs. Dollar,
Aye.
Dr. Grande,
Aye.
Mrs. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mrs. Watman,
Aye.
Mrs. Woodsett,
Aye.
Mrs. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kowski Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Okay, this is the part of the meeting where we would go to audience recognition for comments for items not on the agenda, but I don't see anybody here. So this is where we would do that. Since there's anybody moving on to any old business, any new business.